All right, welcome back to the Weekend at Gabe's podcast with Weekend Gabe, the real Sam Crane joining me with Spock behind him holding it down. Tonight's guest is none other than Chicago MC Wrds, who has the new EP or mixtape album, whatever you want to call it these days. The
project.
The Equinox Tape is out there on all streaming platforms. He joins us tonight to talk about it. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good, man. So thank you for making time for us to talk about the new project. I think this is your fifth album that you've released. Is that right? Or is it?
And it's like, honestly, it's probably, I say about, there's 3 on Spotify and there's about like 5 on SoundCloud. But yeah.
Oh, so it's like your 10th album.
Something like that, yeah. I lose count. It's a lot of music.
I was about to say, yeah. I thought I was reading something like it was like, oh, like he just released his 4th album. Like, well, this must be his 5th. But no, they also exempted like 1 million hours of music as well. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, well, congratulations on the new project. It's fantastic. Sam and I both really enjoy it. There's a lot of great guests on there with Castaway, Clue Rock jumps on there. I'm huge fans of both of those guys for participating and engaging with the record. There's a lot to get into, so we'll start to jump into some of the album and the makeup. But first, let's talk a little bit about you yourself. Puerto Rican background. I assume that you're probably based on the north side somewhere.
Yeah, Humboldt Park, Logan Square area. That's primarily my stomping grounds.
Absolutely. I mean, I would be surprised if you didn't say that.
Yeah, exactly. Where most Puerto Ricans reside. But yeah, I was born there, 6 months old, came to the States, and was raised in Chicago all my life.
Do you still go back to the island to visit?
Yeah, every now and then. It's not as often as I would like, but yeah, I still have family down there.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at maybe this summer, probably before the summer, or when the kids go on summer break, to go down and visit. I have some in-law. My in-law lives in I have in-laws in Aguadilla, and then also in oh my God, I can't remember the mountain that he lives on. He lives on a mountain. My father-in-law does. San Sebastian, as it is.
Okay.
He's out there. So we're hoping to go visit this summer. Now that things are starting to get a little bit better in the world, hopefully.
Yeah.
But
perfect time.
But I heard Puerto Rico during the height of the pandemic last year when I had my in-laws, because he has a property out there and he was going out there and visiting and doing maintenance on the property. They were playing 0 games when it came to trying to come in. Like if you didn't have a negative COVID test, you had to be quarantined for 2 weeks in like some hotel room. Like you couldn't go anywhere. They were like, no tests. All right, you go over there.
Yeah.
There's no games.
It's a tiny island. You can assume that thing will spread like wildfire there. So
yeah,
I got to use that caution.
Shout out to the people of Puerto Rico. But then also, so growing up on the north side, obviously for me it was like looking up to Puerto Rican rappers. There wasn't that many. It was like Terror Squad, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I just had the Terror Squad chain flash in my brain.
Yes, baby.
And I was like, oh yes, I like it here.
It was it was like Big Pun, Cuban Link, Armageddon, and then that's it. Who were some of the rappers or MCs that were like you were checking for when you were first getting ingrained into hip hop?
Man, honestly, I listen to a little bit of everything. You know, I hate the cliche of, of course I listen to Big Pun and the Terror Squad and all of that. Capital Punishment, one of my favorite albums.
Oh my God, yes.
Such a classic. But I also like Pharoah Monch. I like Talib a lot. Anything that had Sound Bombing, Ruckus Records,
Ruckus,
Lounge. Yeah, just those were the records that I just loved, that I gravitated towards. I mean, my first record I fell in love with was Brand Nubian. And Brand Nubian was very like pro-black, like, and a lot of the stuff I could identify with. It was stuff that I felt like I related to the most, and I was listening to DMX and Jay-Z and all that stuff. But for me, what resonated the most was like groups like Brand Nubian and Black Star and those types of groups that kind of had a little bit more substance behind what they were speaking about.
Yeah, and on this album, like you do a lot of that too. Like I noticed that there's I don't want to say a theme, but a connection with your parents, and then also kind of like balancing, like I had this home life, but I also was in the street life. And so
exactly.
and I don't want to use the a Bronx Tale like to education type thing, but that's what it kind of felt like, you know.
Yeah, it's something that I struggled with. Well, growing up, I never really thought about it. I just thought that this was the normal thing, you know. I had two homies die of gun violence, so that really changed my whole perspective on life. Period. You know. So you know, growing up, being a kid, being in high school, you didn't really think about it much. It wasn't until I, you know, kind of got out of high school and was like, oh no, I'm not really as, you know, as clean cut as I think I am, but I'm also not as grimy. I'm not, you know, walking around with a pistol in my pocket, you know.
Right.
But it was just like this weird thing where it's like, no, but I've been around that atmosphere. I know guys who do it. I've you know, I've been around that type of again, atmosphere. So it was just I guess kind of like an identity crisis, just trying to really figure out where I fit in. You know,
Sure.
I'm not this street guy, but I'm also not this clean cut guy. So where do I fit in all of this? You know, so and that's what the theme primarily is. Like even with the Equinox before this, I put out a project called Winter Solstice, which is all like seasons, you know, related to seasons. Just because as human beings, we change through time, and seasons change, so do we. You know, and that's kind of like how I feel. You know, through doing the music is therapeutic, and therefore it has changed my life in a positive way where I can let these stories go on, you know, on songs and really just let out those experiences that I've had.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about those experiences like on Hourglass, you talk about the loss of friends. I assume those were what you're referring to on the record. Does that I can't imagine doing like dedication or a more memoriam type record, how hard or difficult it is to first write it and then perform it. I can only imagine the amount of emotion that it would take to do something like that.
Yeah, so it's definitely tough, but I think, you know, once you've had several years to kind of deal with it and kind of go through it in your head, it kind of becomes easier to talk about. And also too, I've learned that talking about it has helped other people, you know, deal with their pain and their traumatic experiences. So like for me, I first did a record for DJ, who's one of the homies that were victims of gun violence, and I had to perform that at his I want to say it was like his mother was doing this Justice for Peace against gun violence and stuff like that, this big benefit, and I had to perform a song I did a while ago for him.
Wow.
I dedicated for him in front of his mom and all of these people. So that was the first time that I ever felt that pressure and that emotion.
Yeah.
And you know, I was kind of proud of myself that I got through it, and it was good. It was clean. It was you know, I got through the whole song just fine. But I guess dealing with that has made it easier for me to write those types of records and you know, talk about those experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, did you have something? I know you had a couple.
I wanted to rewind the clocks a little bit, man, because we talked about the influences a little bit. 7 years ago on the SoundCloud, the Big L and Jay-Z tribute, man.
Yes, that's a big one.
Yeah, talk about those two guys. I kind of like that record, man. I you know, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. You know, that was one of those hidden gems. I grew up listening to the 7-minute freestyle. You know, Big L was one of my favorite MCs. I felt like he was so underrated.
Same,
and so overlooked. I mean, it's frustrating sometimes when I get into hip hop debates how dope Big L was. I mean, to the point where Jay-Z took some of his tricks. If you listen to the 7-minute freestyle, you can see Jay-Z's trying to mimic the precedents that Big L had in that freestyle. So yeah, it was something that I listened to on repeat all the time. And so I always wanted to rock that beat. I think Logic did something to it a while ago. And so I was just like, oh, I want to do like an homage to them. I want to do exactly what they did, but with my little twist. So that's how that ended up happening.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that record a lot, man.
Thanks, man.
And then I wanted to fast forward to what feels like the future in now times, and TikTok blowing up. Been doing a lot of TikTok lately. Yes. I cannot wrap my head around the platform. How are you dealing with it? How are you finding it? How are you finding more followers on TikTok? How are you even finding these duets to link up with, man? Like, I don't even.
I love them, man. You know what? It's actually been beneficial to just more exposure, you know, younger audience too. I feel like it's our duty as old heads, right, in the hip hop game to kind of
speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
I speak for myself. I speak for myself. Like it's up to us to kind of, you know, show them that that you know what the type of music that they're listening to is dope too. You know, I don't want to hate on anybody,
right?
But also that there is kind of like this. I don't know. I guess this blueprint also that exists in hip hop, and I feel like, you know, the more we expose younger people to it, I feel like the more the culture is gonna uphold those same principles as an MC. So I just find producers all around TikTok. Usually, you know, the algorithm just feeds you stuff you like. So I usually find a lot of similar producers or just producers that I think that are really dope. I do a duet. I'll tag them on it, or I reach out to them via DM just to build a relationship. And then you know, I see what fits and what works. And then I also find in between to kind of let you know, hey, I got a project out, or I got this record out, or whatnot. So
I feel like that's a crazy way to like stay sharp between projects. You know,
that too.
It's pretty next level, I think.
I kind of feel Sam, we need to maximize TikTok somehow, get more viewers.
Dude, get your kids on TikTok. They know how to work that thing. I'm not the guy to ask. I'm an 11-year-old, man. You do it.
My son he's on there, but I'm very reluctant just because of, you know, me knowing how people and human behavior is. That I'm just very shy about him being on there, so we try to monitor it, what he's posting. But yeah, he's done some really cool things with it, which I don't know if I have the patience to do it, or I just feel like it's really, TikTok isn't really designed for anyone under 20. It's like you can master it and that's cool, but I kind of like what you were saying, Words, is like it really feels like I really feel like a dinosaur trying to, like, you know.
That's what your parents said about the computer.
That's why I only post, you know, little freestyles and stuff that'll keep them entertained. Other than that, I won't really use TikTok for anything else.
So you're not going to create the new Words dance, right?
No. You're
not the meme account that we
not my demographic. Not my demographic.
You're just gonna see him doing like
dancing.
Dances, yeah.
It's like the new Words dance to match my song, you know, go back to the Laffy Taffy days, you know. Have a dance with your song. Don't have a dance, there's no song. I did want to get into, speaking of kids, you have the song called The Letter, which is kind of like it kind of feels like the record that Kanye and Jay did for the Watch the Throne album. Like, is this like do you don't have children, or do you plan to have children? Do you kind of feel like
no? I don't. I'm in this weird space where it's like I'm getting older, right? And I see all my friends around me, you know, they got families, they've started their families and done, you know, awesome things, being parents and being dads and moms and whatnot. So I was just in this weird space where I was just like, man, when is it gonna happen for me? Like, what is going on? Like, you know, and you have kind of like, you kind of question yourself, like, what am I doing something wrong? Like, what's going on? Yeah,
I've been there. Yep.
Yeah, you kind of just like your mind starts playing tricks on you, right? You start thinking like, damn, you know, when is my moment gonna happen? So The Letter was one of those where it's like, man, in case it never happens, because I don't know, right? I mean, the intent is there, but who knows? Life is crazy. Life is crazy. So it was one of those, like, let me just write a letter to my child to be, and let them know how much I care for them, even though I'm not there, you know. And also a part of it too was saying things that I didn't really hear much when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like with my pops, he was very machismo, very tough guy. Like, no, you don't cry. You know what I'm saying? I love you was very seldom. You know what I'm saying? It was very hard. It was hard to get I love you out of him. So
That's same.
So, you know, I thought that that record would be also relatable in that sense, where it's like maybe these are reassuring things that maybe somebody else needs to hear through this song too. So that's how that song came about. And that's why it's kind of short, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree that I went through that. My wife and I were dating for like years, and I was like, you know what? I guess it's just never gonna happen. Like, and then of course, when it happens, then you're like, well, look at that. Everything does work after all. Look at
exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You never know those oops moments, but for right now, like that's where I'm at in my life. So hopefully I'll have a record after that, maybe the letter 2, you know.
I joke with my wife because we conceived when we were in a vacation in Puerto Rico in 2000.
Hey, nice.
In 2000, what was it, 8? Yeah, it was 2008. It was like fall, like late August, whatever. And then the kid ended up coming out with green eyes. I'm like, look at that.
Whoa. Nice.
So my wife has green eyes, so it's like she had the dominant gene, it appears. But so I'm like, yeah, awesome. Look at that. Look at it, works, you know. It works.
Nice.
You should just shoot your shot, you know, no pun.
Exactly.
I want to get into also Zoned In, because that's like you reference Jill Scott's Golden, and that is my record. Like when I am in the shits and I don't feel good about myself and I'm just looking for that pick me up record, that record is like God like encoded into the MP3, because it will just jumpstart everything about your day. It is the perfect song. So I appreciate when you were like including that into your record, as far as like being like, you know, like I've been through the struggles. I'm on my grind, starting to reel off the benefits of this, you know, and I'm in a good space, you know.
Exactly. And you know, when I heard the beat out, that's the first thing that came into my head. It made me feel happy. It made me feel good. Like I achieved something. I don't know, like I'm gonna achieve something, or it just when I heard that record, that's the first thing that came into my head, that melody. And so and just to reiterate what you said, Jill Scott is one of my favorite artists. Like I could listen to her all day. Her voice is golden. So you know, yeah, she's one of my favorite artists. Her, Erykah Badu, of course, you know, Sade. Those are all just artists that I like to listen to on rotation. Even if I'm making my little coffee in the morning, getting my day started, like,
oh man, it's perfect.
Perfect artists to listen to in that space. So that's how that record came along.
Good deal.
Let's talk about the beats a little bit more, because 2 of my favorite records and 2 very sort of different beats were Silver Surfer, I should say, and Toto. How do you pick beats, man? Like, because it seems like you're not sure the beats to use. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, the selection is really just random, man. Whatever sticks, whatever I think kind of goes together and kind of blends in together very well. I kind of treat projects like a playlist almost, and then I kind of just like weave things in together and see what kind of all goes together. But yeah, the production, that was GMP on Todo. Silver Surfer was this producer by the name of Saipuda. Very weird name, but these are just guys that I've been following them on social media, specifically on YouTube. And you just build relationships. I create the record, I send the record to the producer. And if the producer gives me the thumbs up or is rocking with it or says, hey, Wrds, I got a 10% off on the lease, you know, sometimes they'll give you deals on beats, on production, you know, and it's costly. If you're an artist, it becomes costly. So creating those relationships is very important if you want to kind of survive and just get that good sound consistently. So that's how those records came about. I really just go on a random playlist that I have on my head, on my YouTube playlist, and then go through all those beats, put it on shuffle, and then whatever resonates, I try to write it immediately. I also have a setup at home, so that kind of helps too. Like once I hear the beat, I literally turn around and my setup is right there, so I could just record any ideas or anything that comes to my head right there, right away. So that's also a luxury to have.
Nice.
If you're an artist.
I said with Silver Surfer, you know, obviously that triggers some comic book. Were you heavy into comic books?
Yes, I still have a comic book collection to this day. I still have a whole stack.
I don't know if you can see up here in those. Hang on, I don't know if you guys can see up there. Those white binders. That's all books, and then to the right's all books.
Wow.
And I haven't even read them. I was just buying them because I was just like heavy into just buying books. So I haven't read all of them. And
I have like
there's probably some zeros in there, so I don't know what's in there. It's not Batman.
Impressive. Yeah, I was more of I was a big Marvel guy. I still am. Yeah, Silver Surfer was one of those dudes that just I always felt was like, you know, again, was an overlooked character in the whole Marvel universe. Underutilized, you know, every time they did put him in a movie, it was always kind of awkward and weird. They never really utilized him to his fullest potential. So and he was always doing Galactus's, you know, bidding. He was always trying to find planets so Galactus could destroy. And so I don't know, I just related to the character, just him, the elegance of him on a surfboard through the galaxy. It just felt like that's how I felt on that beat. It was just like I was floating through a galaxy. So that's how Silver Surfer came to be. And the verse is so dope and intricate. I just felt like it just fitted the entire aesthetic of the song.
I think that comic books and hip hop, like, they go together so well. Obviously, like MF
So
Doom,
good.
Ghostface, even now with the Czarface, those guys who are doing comic book kind of album construction, you know, with the audio. So it's like, it always feels like comic books and hip hop have this great. I mean, even Wu-Tang, you know, they all their albums
and beyond all that into anime too. You know,
anime really too is a big one.
Yeah, there's definitely a fixation with that. The Equinox Tape is out there on all streaming platforms by Wrds. Our guest tonight on Weekend at Gabe's. Thank you so much for joining and giving us some time to talk about the new project. Good luck with it. Hopefully you and the other artists in Shy Native will be able to get out this summer and actually perform it for us in person. Considering, so we're all looking forward to that.
Fingers crossed, man. Thank you guys for having me again. I appreciate you guys being patient with me trying to get this all set up, but thank you guys for the opportunity. And yeah, Equinox out, all digital platforms. We're going to be shooting the video for What a Day. That's next. So be on the lookout for that.
Well, if you need some cameos, let us know. You know,
I got you.
Spock's been begging all summer.
I got you all day. Come in peace.
Yes.
Great way to close out. All right. Thank you, Wrds. All right. Don't forget to give us a follow on the socials at Weekend Gabe and at the Sam.
At OP_Samuel. Baby.
And Wrds, it's at Wrds 87, right?
At Wrds 87 on Twitter, TikTok, on IG, Wrds1, the number 1, WRDS.
There you go. Give them a follow as well and go check out the new album when you get a moment. All right. That's our time here on Weekend at Gabe's. Have a good night. We'll talk to you guys soon.